Ahoy there, Legion! It's the Friday after a Devstream, so you know I got a recap and review for you. 2-hour Devstream 100 bonanza to be precise. I know what you're thinking. Psycho! Don't you do these on Monday? Well, funny story. I was fishing on the plains and minding my own business when... Come on, I need to do a guide on you. Just stand still. Jesus Christ, DE! You're gonna scare the fish. You know how long it took to grind to use this bait? Operation Plaguestar is announced and will be bringing with it the Infested Zaw. It'll reward you for participating with new items to make your own melee weapons with different stats and a more infested flair. Console Squad. They'll be aiming to release that sweet, sweet PoE content all over your beautiful faces very soon. Specifically, they're aiming to send it to certification tonight. This one's a full cert pass though, so in theory it could take up to 2 weeks, but it is on the way. Heads up for everyone that there's currently 3 100-hour alerts active that will net us all an Orokin reactor, catalyst, or even a rifle riven. Don't know if we can trade the riven or not, but if so, that's easy plat trading right there. Tactical Tater was in the house, sitting next to Megan the entire time, the lucky dog. But there was also a guide to the Lotus there, as well as 2 folks from the subreddit. Team Reddit, represent. While there was no official word on Umbra, they did offer up a new frame for us to feast on, Khora. She not only can summon her own custom Kavat and use an exalted whip, but you can change her damage output from puncture, slash, and impact, which will also change her appearance. So Chroma 2.0 meets Xcal with a dash of Necro summoning and Oberon's passive. They even said we should be able to have another pet or sentinel out at the same time, because as we all know, 2 cats are always more fun than 1. Speaking of, anyone else see the obvious shipping and tag teaming of Whipframe and Saren? Certain artists of the fan base, I expect good themes from you over this. Do not disappoint. They know login rewards as they currently work right now kinda suck. So basically how you can choose what rewards you want to get when ranking up in syndicates. Now every 50 days you can choose from a list of rewards that you'd like to be locked into getting. I have a feeling folks would go for only 75% plat off if that isn't an option. I'm just wondering. Bounty rewards are going to pay out for each segment completed. The more you complete, the higher tier of loot it can drop. So since the 2 hardest ones got the most sets of mini missions to complete, they're going to have the highest potential of dropping rarer items. Focus 2.5. I got 2 back-to-back laughs for you, Legion. 1. We're getting another free focus respec. And 2, it sounds like they're starting the PoE-Ception. Instead of 5 individual focus pools, there's going to be 1 big one. Because the Path of Exile confusion was not apparent enough. But I don't mind it in this case, as it can only be another buff to Team Onaru, so I'll take it. Even better news, they're removing the hard cap and adding diminishing returns instead. And that's not a bad thing, as you start the day off with a positive booster applied. Somewhat like Rested Experience in WoW. This also ties into what they would like to see they're calling a diversity of play, and they want us to do more than the same mission over and over again. So basically, if you do different mission types, you keep getting a boost to your focus gains compared to running the meta for the biggest individual gains and quickly burning through that bonus buff you get quickly. This is great news for not only focus farming itself, but their design as a whole, as this is finally rewarding players for doing something instead of punishing them for not. DE's got a heck of a history for doing the opposite, so again, this is great news, and I really hope they keep it up in the future. Fortunately, the operator talk was minimal this dev stream. They mentioned new idle animations are on the way to help show off their personalities, which good luck finding one, along with the popular suggestion to be able to pet your Ku and cat bros on the Liset, so that's gonna make some people happy at least. Still rather them kicked out the airlock entirely, but hey, they're on the Liset now. It's a start. While they still want to make clans great again, they only mentioned a custom dojo obstacle course you can make, and that they're going to remaster the dojo tile set. No word on the kingpin system, or if that's even on the way anymore, which I would care way more about than looks and jumping around blocks, but you know, each his own. It wasn't explained too well, but apparently when DE adds a new content of some sort, they will be adding assets from that we can use on our Lisets and dojos. They mentioned Iron Wake and that they want to have more relay overlays that feel different but didn't expand on this much. Again, with the PoE connection, there are followers you can sort of give reputation with, and they have their own set of items you can buy from them to decorate your place. So I don't know if that's another theme they're going to be borrowing or what, but we didn't get much to work with, so there's that. Quest choices have yet to matter, and apparently the man on the wall was going to be a big part of that. More on this story arc coming up in the future, but nothing directly. And oddly, they said it has nothing to do with Umbra, which, considering he's dark and named after the very thing you can see on the morality meter, okay. A new, much larger Eidolon is coming, and about time, says I. Back around TennoCon, Steve said Eidolons were supposed to be 8 stories tall, and I was sorely disappointed with the Terrorist's reveal because of how short it was in that comparison. But here we go. Big old stompy thing with little T-Rex arms. Should be fun. As previously mentioned, 2 Reddit folk were in attendance, and DE asked them to bring popular questions and concerns to be asked during the Devstream. Here are the summaries of the questions and answers asked during this time, and then we'll close it all out with the short one-liners that you can't really add too much to. Okie dokie. While they want to do more remasters of old tile sets, and they are easier to do than landscapes, folks did not really respond to them enough to make it worth the time invested, and also the struggle of huge download sizes that they caused. But they also fixed the oldest tile sets, so that's a win, and something about working on both tile sets and landscapes at the same time in the future. Don't know if that ties into the Liset Dojo decoration stuff or not. They didn't go into detail. Why you know Kuva and Kuva Fortress? This was something they admitted was ridiculous, and Sheldon thought he fixed already. The Redditors provided a few instances where they could have been added, and for whatever reason, DE said it just didn't work out or slipped their mind, but they'll find a way to get it into the place. And props to Jeff for potentially feeding off the meta Reddit's persona here. When Sheldon said he'd fix it, Jeff corrected him saying, "You mean you'll do your job." Magnificent. Zaw's make a weapon is kinda lame, as you have to rebuild the dang thing from scratch instead of just breaking it down into the spare parts and continue to mix and match. They said the usual, nothing's ever finished, and they might change it next landscape and then bring that new design back to Cetus. Don't know why they just don't do that now that it's been called out and it was implied to work that way since TennoCon, but as we can now leave squads on the plains instead of being held hostage from AFKers, the tech exists and we might be able to do the same in any endless mission in the future. DE's just got to plug that in, and they said they have no reason not to, so fingers crossed that's coming soon. Plains material shenanigans. Design-wise it made sense. DE didn't want old players to blow through it all instantly by grinding a full day and then being burnt out, or the opposite of dropping their entire material stockpile they gained over the years and just buying everything. But it also messed up new players, as farming only fed into Cetus itself and did not help overall progress. They have already swapped the first 2 bounties to drop outside materials to help new players out, and said in the future more items will require PoE mats. They once again mentioned Hema tried this, but they went way too far. Universal vacuum. Funny enough, we already have it. Scott snuck it into update 22 without telling more than a handful of people. The range is small, 3 or 4 meters, but that is better than what we had, and apparently that's the compromise he has reached. Much like Sheild Gating, there's a strong back and forth within DE on the pros and cons of universal vacuum, so while the radius might not be as big as you'd like, it's a decent enough one now where things won't get stuck in a corner you can't reach without it, or behind a wall like sometimes with the Void. I gotta commend Scott on forcing it into the game, and I'm alright with it. But speaking of Sheild Gating, while it is still in the dev build, they aren't sure if it'll make the light of day. They're wondering if it is just a potential solution to another problem. I'm torn on this one, as I'd rather a quick fix get in the game now, and it'll tide us over until they do fix the overarching problem, especially if it works. And they even said that they couldn't find anything negative with adding it. I'm curious what they think will break if they add it in, and I'm reading between the lines here because there is like an unspoken reluctance to add it, and if they already said they can't find anything wrong, why isn't it in yet? I'm assuming it's a known unknown thing where the potential for a catastrophic failure is there, so they're shy on letting it go, but I don't know. They said it wasn't off the table, but how they're describing it, I think it's about to be, or at least it's teetering on the edge right now. The 3rd door on the Orbiter is going to tie into an Orbiter expansion, but they didn't say more than that. that. The Sentient Arm Cannon, revealed so very long ago, will apparently arrive alongside the Sentient Outpost, but no more information than that. They like the idea of making past events come back as quests, just haven't had the spare time to do that, and I pretty much expected this, but no raids are in the works or even in discussion. I suspected Eidolons were going to be their new take on raid systems, and that's pretty much what they confirmed today. Now just make landscape support 20-player free roam and we got a real raid going on. Thus concludes the Reddit segment. And now for the forum oh wait, they didn't get one. Kitana INC. Well, technically that's no Kitana. That's Nodachi. The leaked Remaking Relays event is 75% done. There will be a lot of player-based choice involved in terms of what relay to rebuild, what style we're going to rebuild it in, and other things they said are going to go in there, but they didn't express what exactly. Steve did say pretty loudly that we should get our nanospores ready, so be prepared. Ghouls were shown again, animated, but still no ETA. The Orokin Fan was getting work done, but Jeff had a hankering to make that Nodachi and kind of forgot. As for the Hydroid Prime trailer, Jeff hoped we forgot about that one. Acolytes are coming back again in December. Octavia's got new packs on the way, and they might even add new notes, as currently they are all in C or D minor. And Snipetron's coming back before the end of the year. Alright, hope the somewhat speedier delivery Devstream recap was to your liking, Legion. Like anything you hear? Or maybe something not so much? Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious how we're actually going to get that new Warframe, as she seems to be fairly far progressed. We might even get her before New Year's, actually. But I'm head back to that crater that was my fishing hole. Ooh, now it's a fishing crater. Even more fish to fish. Thank you for watching, Legion. Enjoy your weekend, and don't forget about the 100-hour alerts. They'll probably be active on Monday, but good to get them out of the way. Until next time, take care.